that success doesn't really fulfill my soul. Like what I'm yearning for to step into this work is actually to find soul fulfillment.
Juro said, it's informative, it's gentle, it's honest.
You know, and I walked out into a garden. You know, I tried to see that garden growing, and it was really cool.
Because people go on the road, they felt they are dying, and on the end of the road, they are reborn.
It's such a beautiful metaphor for, are you willing to dig a little deeper? Are you willing to trust your own intuition and inclination that there might be something really important there? Are you willing to dig for it? Are you willing to look, even if it's difficult, and even if people say, nah, you're wasting your time. Yeah, that's nothing. Are you still willing to dig deeper? Okay, so I want to welcome everyone to this open forum, the International Open Forum. We have some incredible guests from all over the world, literally all over the world. We have Leonard from the Philippines, Debbie Buss from UK, Leila, one Leila from Dubai, and one Leila from Bosnia, and Svemir, my amazing Reconnective Healing teacher from Croatia, and of course my husband, who is also former Yugoslavian, is here. And then we have some beautiful people joining from the Seattle area, Gwen and Becky. Thank you so much for joining on. I'm so glad you guys could be here. I would like to, as I said, Svemir is my instructor for the Reconnective Healing, which I did almost a year ago, learning how to do Reconnective Healing, which I absolutely love. And so I would really like to know, Svemir, about your journey, if you would be willing to share your journey of both your spiritual journey and your journey for Reconnective Healing, and what you're seeing as you're doing all these seminars. Like you said, your schedule is really full, and you've been doing a lot of these seminars. So now that COVID is kind of falling off, how are you seeing that? Are the seminars getting busy again? Because I know at one point the seminar that was in Zagreb a few years ago was really big. And so I'm going to let you talk about all that, if you would.
Thank you. Well, let me start with how my journey became. It was quite unexpected. In my mid-20s, I was, my background is business administration and law school, so nothing to do with spirituality. But like things happen in mysterious ways. So for me, the journey actually began, I was working in the consulting company, and we moved to a new premises. And on the same premises, on the same floor, there is one meditation center called Silk Road. It was founded by one energy master from China. And I was passing by every day. And all these people, they were like a little bit too much alternative for me. But somehow I started to speak with some of them. And I started to go to the meditations there. And this master from China, she was at that time traveling all around the world. She came to Zagreb, and we had one meditation session with her. And what happened to me was the day after, I was in a theater watching some play, and in one moment, my crown chakra opened and big flow of energy started to go. And I remember that I was sitting like not wanting to move, because I thought if I move, it's going to disappear. But actually, I was connected for few weeks without break. So that was really wonderful time. It was like, you know, you are walking down the street, and in every person you see something beautiful. And that was my awakening, I would say. And from that moment, I started to be very interested in energy, in spirituality, and that's how it started. But then some 10, 15 years later, I discovered Reconnective Healing, Reconnection. At that time, I already knew that I want to do something with the energies, but I didn't know what and how. So Reconnection came, and I felt that's the thing for me. So very quickly, I started to open my practice, and after that, maybe a year and a half later, I joined the Dr. Eric Pearl team as a mentor, and then I was working with the Reconnection from 2013 to 2019 as a member of the team on the seminars, mostly in Europe, but also sometimes in USA. So that's how all started. Today, yeah, from 2020, I'm instructor, so I'm doing seminars by myself or with my colleagues. And yes, it started to be very busy. From first 2 years when I was doing seminars in Zagreb, in Croatia. Last year, I already done first seminar in Belgrade, in Serbia. And this year, we are doing seminar in Ljubljana, in Slovenia, in Sarajevo, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and in Sofia, in Bulgaria. So it's like Balkan region. I decided to focus on this region and to bring Reconnection to as much people as possible.
I love that. So I'm curious, I know you and I talked when we were in Zagreb last summer about with Juro, because he was, because of the religious, the overarching religious feeling of the country of Croatia, because it's a very Catholic country. And even the way that he grew up in former Yugoslavia, where, you know, it's communism and religion was kind of, you know, looked down on. Yeah, suppressed, definitely. He thought that, you know, spirituality coming to, especially the Balkan region, was going to be something difficult. Are you finding that are people open? Are people awakening? Because it seems like the seminars are getting more and more full for Reconnective Healing, which I know it isn't necessarily a spiritual practice, but it's definitely an alternative practice. Are you finding people? And I know with Leila, I also would like to understand how you met Leila in Bosnia, and how that connection going to the pyramids and your experience of that, which we'll talk about too. But do you see that there is this renaissance, if you will, of alternative thinking, alternative practices, alternative spirituality going through the Balkan region?
I think it does, and I was having this conversation last week. I was in Serbia doing some workshops, and then usually people compare, you know, like in Croatia people are more open, or in Slovenia or in Serbia, everybody has different opinion, but I'm kind of opinion that it's similar as in all the Europe, and I would assume also in the America, because we are living at this time when people are really discovering that there is much more of us and our reality that we thought it was. So I think it's a process that is similar everywhere, and definitely I see a lot of spiritual practices opening and a lot of teachers coming to the surface and helping in this process here in Balkans.
That's beautiful. Juro, did you have a question? I thought you.
We don't hear you.
So anyway, that was basically, you hit it there, Jackie. I was wondering the grip of different religions in the Balkans and in the world. I'm very much interested to ask people how awakening is happening in their country. Like, how is it like for Adrian? Do you see it in Philippines? For Debbie Bush, do you see it in UK, or is it? Are you the only one? Or like, I'm very much interested. Like, Dubai. Like, what do you see in Dubai, and what do you feel? Is there anyone you can talk to about weird stuff, like woo? What they call woo, and are you just being weird? Is there people you can talk to? So same way for Croatia or Bosnia, like there's a grip of religion there, and like, are there people awakening? Like, that was something that Leila from Visoko can talk to us about. Like, do you see anything? Do you know this guy Svemir? He's a doctor. He's amazing archaeologist. I don't know what all he is. I want to meet him, But like, can you see stuff there? I'm so much interested in how other countries are waking up. Am I the only one here that's just noticing that our reality is changing? So that was my basic question to everyone.
Shall I speak? I suppose with the work that I do, I'd probably say 90% of my clients are US and international, not so much here in the UK. There are sort of little pockets of it, kind of, you can go to sort of certain classes and things like that. But I do feel Wales, South Wales particularly, and I suppose England, a lot of UK as well, is far more reserved in certain aspects in what they do. Everything seems to be kind of behind the scenes. So all your spiritual practices are very much done behind closed doors or sort of smaller groups. It's not something that you would kind of shout out and say kind of like, I'm so woo-woo. I mean, for me, kind of my spiritual practice, a lot of it was done quietly. When I started to kind of really come into it around sort of 2008, 2009, I started to kind of awaken. And I think it was just buying angel cards or things like that, or sort of like crystals and pendulums and all those kind of things. And the astrology I've done for a long time anyway, but that was still behind closed doors. So it's only now I can kind of stand up and be proud, woo-woo, if that makes sense. But I get what you're saying, but it is very much small pockets. It's sort of, if you know the right people who to talk to or to reach out to, but it's not a case of a kind of shout it out and say I'm proud kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. How about one of the Leilas? I would love to hear. Leila from Visoko, can you share your experience of that, and especially with what you do in the pyramids or around the pyramids? I would like to know more about you, because I know we talked once a while back on the phone, but and that conversation was fascinating. So please.
I don't know where to start. I would love to say something about Bosnian background.
Please.
Bosnian background is a central part of former Yugoslavia. I'm born in former Yugoslavia, and I still count that is one. Something that you can't divide. All Balkanians feels like children from divorced parents. That's connection between countries that, oh my God, I grow up with auntie, I grow up with mother or grandmother. We have different flags, But core love and feeling that we are belonging to Balkan, it's always there. And it's same with awakening. Especially we have a long way of ancestors that was Bogumils, that was connected to the specific stones, Stečak, that is right now in grid connecting with all Stonehenge and all rocks in the new grid around. It is in Russia, it is in Africa, it is everywhere. It's something is happening. We don't know to see what exactly is happening. And when I think I know, tomorrow I will know better. And that's space where you don't like to talk publicly about it. Because border between West and East was on this area. Between Rome and Ottoman Empire, between Napoleon was on Balkan. Russia had, Stalin had his mouth open to come here. That's all recent. But in 7th century, Slavic people come here. You can't go somewhere to not merge and get a mixture, not only through this, but mixture of belief systems. That's just about monotheistic, that just to not go too far. We all have subconsciously know everything. Consciously, we are not sure what's going on. We just know that something is boiling. And we are programmed as children. You don't say to teacher if you don't know right answer to right question. Otherwise, you will have punishment at home and in school. Don't say if you are not sure. Visoko, space that we have six known pyramids at the moment, but it is strong possibility. It is a little bit more, but what I give a big respect to Dr. Svemir Kovac, he declare only what is proven scientifically. He don't go with assumption. He go with proof like scientist. I'm a little bit different. I'm not scientist. I can go in dreams and in a 5 months see what I had dream about. It's happening. Because we all have our areas. People who are born here have so many historical memories of not speaking what they feel, not standing for what they are not proven by the science. One-on-one, you can see opening, wow. But in group, no. I don't speak against my country. We have too many wars. I don't speak against my religion. I still belong there because my faith is bigger than system of religion. I don't speak in this group of people. That's why I'm named Crazy Lady. Town calls me that way. As I was opening all these things and working on collective, actually, I was working on me. I didn't work on other people. I was working on me. Reconnective healing was something that brings me closer to myself, because most of my life I was running away from myself. And that was biggest pain. And now it comes like bringing together things. More and more, I'm meeting people who from all around the world, coming to, I'm 7 years here, coming to Bosnia on personal pilgrimage. It depends what you bring with intention. People who come, I come to see, is it pyramid or it's not? Is it fake or it's not? They come with one answer that actually they programmed themselves and go back. No, it's nothing there. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's nice. We was having nice weather and lunch, nice lunch in restaurant. But people who come different way, everyone is actually finding what they are looking for. People who come with intention to discover something more about themselves, they are meeting similar people. Because vibration is going and your intention is going before you. And you meet, if you need challenge to go faster, to go farther, you meet challenge. If you need nice, smooth, relaxing time, you get that. And somehow everyone have already feelings where they need to go. Because if you go on the Vratnica, probably you know what means Vratnica. That's the name of the village, means gate. That's tumulus. If you go there, you go like you are having vortex, downloading map for what will happen next a few days. Because that's not pyramid. That's looks like a cornet from the ice cream turned upside down. And when you go there, you are going to find your map for next level. Somehow, that's how I feel. I'm talking about my experience and experiences this I was witnessing. I have nothing that I have through books. Honestly, books did help, but somehow, when you go to Pyramid of Moon, it's totally feminine energy. When you go Pyramid of Sun, it's masculine energy, but they are both as balanced as collective is in that moment of meeting. And sometimes you need to get above collective. Sometimes you to help shifting it. I don't know how I do it. It's usually I meet people that helps me and I help in there. It is always somehow co-creation. And always coming, if coming issue, it's coming that is collective most important to be solved at that moment. And sometimes multiplying. But when it's coming, releasing, it's felt through all that in synchronicity coming news for me from other sides. I know I completed something well. Today I was on Pyramid of Love. Purity of acceptance of diversity. That is energy there. Just loving. I know I'm loved by God, whatever I do, and I am focusing on purifying my own love to not expect from people something to serve me. And that's things what we are all dealing with. And this is person coming, I have only one day. Okay, I would love that pyramid. Intuitively, they know what is the most important in that moment. Someone is coming for 5 days and want to see more pyramids. And in 5 months, saying, what was open up? I want more. I'm coming again. This is what is happening here. And people who live here are supporting that. Some of them very aware, but they will not admit awareness. Not ready for public talk. And some of them actually doing subconsciously. It's a lady who loves her garden. Older lady, she don't know about spirituality, nothing. That she think that she don't know. But when she speak about her gardening, as she's talking, I having picture what's happening in the grid work around Earth in front of my eyes, like movie. When she speak with vibration. And you never know how awakened someone is, because that's only my judgment. That person is awakened or that is not. That's my judgment. I don't know how much aware these people are. Maybe they are making joke and laughing behind my back when I say I am awakening. Who knows? We just have to stick with our own things in the one moment. And for me, all valley of Visoko is really, really, really about third cycle of Mayan calendar beginning. I was having dreams about tunnels before I started primary school. And I didn't know what is it, because pyramids were, I was never in Visoko before. It's even I'm Bosnian born and become refugee, spent 20 years in Australia. And it's in my dreams start pyramids and connection with Chichen Itza. I was assuming that Chichen Itza I have to visit or something. But suddenly it started happening, some synchronicity. I found one place near the Melbourne that is Aboriginal sacred site that have, for me, so similar energy to Visoko, like twins. So similar energy. And I was visiting that place, but that is year when pyramid is discovered here. Oh, pyramid in Bosnia. What they are talking about, science fiction. That was my thinking in that time. But I was focusing on reconnective healing, liquid crystals, pranic healing. I was learning everything that to find out something is missing. I just know something is missing. And I start learning about Mayan cycles and this Juro Mrsic thing. And suddenly I start remembering Chichen Itza past life. This is closing cycle of 13,000 years of male domination. And starting cycle of current of the returning that other side around. It's now about Visoko. Because for me, it's too many synchronicities. Triangle, 3 perfect pyramids are Pyramid of Sun, Pyramid of Moon, and Chichen Itza. If you translate Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, they said rainbow, flying, feathered serpent. If you translate it in Balkanian language, it's dragon, rainbow, dragon, feathered dragon. And we have Pyramid of Sun, Pyramid of Moon, and Pyramid of Dragon, perfect triangle. When you have about Mexico, it's Road of the Death, going in between. I read a lot. I wasn't there physically. I was going into dreams or some other things and reading a lot. But that Road of the Death, as people take it as personal pilgrimage, it comes like, that's my opinion. I can't prove anything, but I'm saying I feel it that way. It's kind of the ascension Jesus Christ way. Because people go on the road, they felt they are dying, and on the end of the road, they are reborn. This is true death, resurrection. When it's about Bosnia, we don't have road, but we have Vojnica River. River that is having not natural riverbed. Riverbed is created from same material as part of the complex of pyramids. That's where flowing is always about water dragons, about emotional states. Flow of not natural created riverbed is taking programmed emotions into account. When it's merging with River Bosnia, that is natural. How water so easy change conditioned, programmed consciousness to natural consciousness, merging by Bosnia River. And that is all about Ascension Maria Magdalena, way of the being alive and ascend. And that is teaching that you have to find within you. That is exactly being visible in every atom, everything that is exist. Only I have to find it out for myself. And that's why its emotional moment is not easy to take it here, but not always easy. But you invite grace and easy, and what is challenging you invite to be channeling, not challenging. And somehow we are getting there. Being crazy becomes title of honor.
I agree with that completely. And I'm embracing the crazy more and more. And thank you for sharing so much about that. It's interesting to me, and maybe the people on the call feel it too, the awareness of that resurrection process is for me, at least personally, and I think for Juro as well, it's coming up a lot. That initiatory process towards a resurrection of consciousness seems to be coming up in many different ways recently. So thank you for touching on that and to, again, bringing it into the awareness, because it seems to be.
It's also interesting that me meeting so many people of different cultures and going from one religion and one culture, one background, going into other is not easy path. And I'm born in Muslim family, and I'm married in Orthodox family, and lived in Australia. I'm meeting so many people. I find out that actually we have much more in between words. Just when we learn to translate, all traditions are speaking same story. Just like different artists. Like someone who is musician will not go and paint picture. Someone who is working with colors or mosaics or stone, everyone will express that the way they know. It's our to find out what is it. Because it's all same. Oneness is always linked to everything, and all teachings was just helping tools to learn different languages, but start learning to translate that through feelings, your own connection to source, and find your own language. And this is ongoing process all the time. And thank you. I was a little bit fearful of public speak of these
Oh,
things.
you shouldn't be.
And
You
that
should
is
be.
first.
Wonderful.
That is first time I'm speaking that way.
Thank you
Thank
so
publicly.
much.
Thank you for
It is.
sharing, because your words were vibration of truth. I could feel it in my body as you spoke, especially about resurrection and the road when you shared what you felt. Is truth. I feel like I don't know if it is because of reconnective healing energy, but I feel like the truth resonates with each and every one of us, and it shows itself in vibration. And this is what I've come to find out. So I was like feeling the vibration of that energy of the truth that you were sharing, and it's just wonderful. And you even mentioned Maria Magdalena, because I, for the past 1 month, have been channeling light language, and I have been just saying words about Maria, and I have no idea where that came from. I mean, I'm born Muslim. I grew up in a Christian family, similar to your story, and both religion are very dear to me, and I have a core understanding of the oneness of source and God. So I was just nodding and nodding, because when you brought language, story, and sharing, and then Maria Magdalena, it just kind of, to me, it just made sense that language and what you were speaking is part of what I have been sensing and feeling. So I'm glad you shared that. It's really, truly beautiful. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
So for both Leilas, I would suggest the book called Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus. The best book in the world, explains what pyramids are, what they're for, explains the religion, what behind it is, and the reality. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's on Audible, it's on Kindle. Anna,
wow.
the Grandmother of Jesus. Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus, the best book I've ever read. If I could write like that, I would. It's lovely way, lovely style. And so explains everything about pyramid, especially for Leila from Visuko. It tells you, it is channeled, so it's amazing. So I put that book on top of
I'll
my...
write it down.
Thank you very much.
My sister's on the call too, Jami, she's in Phoenix, or near the Phoenix area, Arizona, in the United States. And she's nodding because I think she just finished that book the second time.
Yeah, it's just exactly as Juro said. It's informative, it's gentle, it's honest. The narrator that they chose for that had to have been divinely guided, because you believe that she really is Anna. I have to remind myself, this is a person here in this day and age, but they couldn't have gotten a better narrator. I absolutely love it. Every time I listen to it twice now, and the second time around, I heard things I didn't notice the first time. And yeah, I am completely on board with what Juro said. It's an excellent, excellent book.
Yeah.
What's it called again? I am not.
It's called Anna, Grandmother of Jesus.
Oh yeah, I've just found it. Okay. Thanks.
You see, I was bitter, I was bitter about religion, but I got the healing after I listened to the book. I started to listen to it second time, and then I discovered Rudolf Steiner and different other people that I just plunged into, and I'm researching that. But Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus, did healing on me about the religion. And so I'm at peace now. I was bitter, mad, and everything. Right now, I'm at peace. What I discovered was that, there's a beautiful metaphor that I use all the time. Religion is like a huge block of concrete with jewels and gems inside. So you have to chisel and break that hard concrete that's worthless in order to find the gems inside, the jewels inside. But though that block of concrete is so hard and nothing grows on it, but there is jewels inside. And so you just have to find those jewels, chisel it out, break it up. So throw away the dogma and all that stuff and find the gems inside. So that's what you get when you listen or read this book, Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus, that heals you, gives you understanding what the pyramids are for. Among other things, they are for initiation of people. That's among many other things. And the other thing is also there for free energy producing, electrical energy producing, free energy. And all that stuff is described, and it's mind-blowing. It's crazy. Yeah.
And it's also, why would be any of us born in this time, specific time, if we don't have some knowledge before the time in previous lives, on soul level? And actually, pyramids provide space where you start remembering your soul knowledge. What is that you are bringing to the collective now as your uniqueness? And just a second. As your own uniqueness, you are bringing something to co-create, and you are bringing that into family, soul family, that you actually make a plan in Lemuria, what we will do now. Okay, we got lost Atlantis a little bit. What we mess up there, let's fix it in Lemuria by plans, but they said, oh, timeline is only on the third cycle. Okay, we'll come there again. And we make our plans, and now we are just coming to walk pathway that we choose, and we already know which team is working with whom and what task. Okay, if I need dentist, I'm not going to optometrist in the moment, but tomorrow I will need optometrist as well. And that's how we are in co-creation, working what we feel it's needed. And of course, must be free will and feeling of remembering on both sides. But wherever you can, activate someone by kindness, by nice words, by acceptance of diversity, you are actually seeding light, new light. That person may ignore you or not even see you, that you are walking down the street. But you smile and say, good morning. And 5 years after this person say, oh, I remember that person told me good morning and I didn't answer. And I felt that morning become good because I got that wish. That person maybe have timeline different than yours, but seeds of you sharing that light is reaching that person on their timeline. Same with many people who I met. Oh, I don't want that workshop or that meditation. Doesn't feel right. And after 3 days, I said, it was right. I was judging it. I was the one who wasn't ready to accept it that moment. When meditation starts working after 3 days. That's what we are learning from moment to moment.
I see Leonard smiling at that. So how did that touch you, Leonard? Because I saw you react to that.
Yeah, because I like what you said there about sometimes it doesn't resonate, but you know, even if that's the power of showing up when you just speak what's your truth, and then even if nobody understands it, it can plant a seed in someone's consciousness, and it you don't know who the people you're touching with the words you're saying. So it everything matters, even if the most the craziest or the the most woo woo, even if people wouldn't understand, if you just had the courage to say it, it already planted the seed, and that's already the potent energy there that can, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. The planting the seed, I think, is really powerful. So we have Gwendolyn is on the iPad. She hasn't come on camera, but this is somebody who is incredibly, she has got beautiful clairvoyant gifts, and she doesn't feel them, but she's so drawn to everything. And I think even that, right? The when you have a curiosity, when you have a desire to know more, to go into it. And Gwendolyn is one of my favorite people. She's just the dearest soul. And so I'm so glad she's on here, because I know that she's curious, and she also has Croatian background. So and she's part of my family, not just my soul family, but now my married family. And just to have these kind of forums, this is one of the reasons I started Psychic Salon, is to be able to have these forums to discuss. And at the time when we did it, it was before COVID, and before we were doing it on Zoom, we were doing it in person. But today, thank you everyone for coming and joining and sharing your perspective and your own experiences, because what I'm seeing, and it's touching me really deeply emotionally right now, is this beautiful common experience of those moments, just like Leila was saying, that resonate with us, that hit us as truth, that we go, this is important, this matters. Like the very first time I heard of Eric Pearl, and it was, I think that what I saw and heard from that was before he actually named it Reconnective Healing. He knew he was healing, and he was talking about it. It was an interview on the news about what he was doing. And I was fascinated, and I was drawn to it, and it felt like truth to me. And even the way that those moments come back up, and the opportunity and the beautiful opportunities that align for me to be able to go and get trained in this and do it in Croatia. When we trust those little breadcrumbs, when we find the gems, whether they're religion or just those moments of when we hear something, or the kindness, when somebody just says hello in a kind and loving way, and a loving way. Those moments that bring us all together, incredibly powerful. Like I'm looking at all the faces on here, and I'm thinking about how I met each of you, and how I was able to connect with each of you, and just beautiful, synchronistic moments. Debbie Buss, that was the very first time I ever taught an online class. Debbie Buss signed up for that class, and we've formed a friendship and a partnership that is just incredibly beautiful. And then Leila was a fellow student at the training in Croatia, in Zagreb, with Svemir. And then Leonard, you came on, I met you through Ann Tucker, through Wisdom Soup, which is another forum that brings together all of us who have this inclination towards something bigger, broader, deeper, and was able to meet him through that and discover his gifts. He does incredible videos and interviews and things like that. And it's just been such a pleasure to meet him through there. And it's interesting, Leila, in Visoko, I've been drawn to the Bosnian pyramids since I very first heard about them. And there's so much, what I noticed when I went to do research on it, there's so much fake. And yet there was something in me that went, I don't think so. What's buried beneath, right? That's the thing about those pyramids. They're so old that they're covered with the landscape. It's very easy to dismiss it as just another landform. And it's such a beautiful metaphor for, are you willing to dig a little deeper? Are you willing to trust your own intuition and inclination that there might be something really important there. Are you willing to dig for it? Are you willing to look? Even if it's difficult, and even if people say, nah, you're wasting your time. Yeah, that's nothing. Are you still willing to dig deeper? Debbie, she just recently, so she's been an astrologer for a long time, and she does medical astrology, and just recently had this shift in her own practice as an astrologer. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, I mean, I've studied and trained astrology for, 25 to 30 years, and I've trained under the Western practice of but I've always had an inner belief that there was something else, something kind of out there. And I was drawn to a practice called Sidereal astrology, or true Sidereal astrology. But there was nothing that I could find, books or anything to read about it. And my dreams are very, like Jacki probably knows my dreams, but they're very prophetic. And lots of I'll have specific dates in them, or I'll see certain things, and then it will play out, whether a couple of days later or a year later. And I'd probably say the last 7 or 8 months, I've started to have dreams where they've had more of the constellations, more of the planets are in there. And I was drawn to study more astronomy. And to really dive in to become an astronomer is sometimes it's a longer process than becoming a doctor. But so I've always done it along the background of it. And I lost my dog in March of this year. And since his death, I started to get more of these dreams, and they were getting stronger. And it was like, you need to go into this more. And there was a podcast, and then there was a sidereal astrologer on there. And there was a part of me going, you don't need to listen to that. And it was almost as if it was trying to dissuade me from listening to it. But there was no, I could feel it. It was getting stronger. It's like, you need to listen to this podcast. And I sat and I just listened to what he was saying. And it was just, whoa, we talk about vibration, and literally I could feel it. It was almost, my body started to shake. Everything started to shake. I felt as if I was going through some sort of experience. And from that day forward, I switched everything over to true sidereal, and what that means is real-time astrology, whereas Western astrology is based on the equinoxes, and it's not based on real-time astrology. And the minute I suppose opened my eyes, even though I've always known it was there, but it was almost a case of there was no going back. I couldn't go back, because I literally was like, how can I sort of be true to who I am, integrity, knowing that the sun is in this particular sign, whereas Western astrology says it's in a different sign. So everything changed from that moment. It was like, I'm starting to feel, and I'd gone against all of my colleagues, all against all the people that I trained with, who were, have said, I've been unfollowed by so many, but it's like, no, this is who I am. And yeah, so it's been these last few months have been I suppose, light bulb moments for me as well. And but I know that I'm on the right path to where I am, and it's just a case of everything now is starting to unfold. And yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's it, right? Are we willing to dig beneath the surface? Are we willing to trust our own knowing and go that path, even if it's not popular, even if it's not accepted, and be truly who we are? And it's hard. I mean, yeah, I've had Juro. It's so, some of you know that I'm a trans channel, and even that was really hard for me to I knew what was happening. I knew what my experience was when it happened. And I was really grateful to have Juro to be a part of that, because he was a witness to it. But he was the one that would tell everyone, and I would be like, oh my gosh, don't say that to people. Don't say, because I was still trying to accept it in me, that was part of it. And it's interesting, Becky Johnson's on the call too. And I don't want to out you, Becky, but I didn't get a chance to respond to your beautiful email. She's had her own experiences recently and had a beautiful experience. I don't know if you would want to share here. And I don't want to be like my husband, he totally outed me, but I thought your experience was absolutely profound. Would you be willing to share it? And if you're not, please don't feel pressured to.
Which one is this? Because I've had
the one about being in the cage.
Well,
that you saw yourself in the cage and that you had the key.
Oh, yes. So that was really interesting because Jacki, we had done our initial phone call, and she said I needed to loosen the trauma in my heart, or the trauma, and that I needed to do that because the heart, the three chakras at the top and the three chakras at the bottom, they meet in the middle, and your energy is blocked at your heart. So you need to loosen this up. And so, and she said, when you do the intention, you say what you want. And so I said, I want this to be healed. And I want to, loosen that trauma so that I can heal. And so when I did, it's not a shamanic journey, but it's something similar to it. But I tried to breathe into my heart, because that's what you told me to do. I tried to breathe into my heart, and I saw myself holding on to cell bars, and I was holding on to it. And I thought, how do I get out of this? I'm locked in this cage in my heart. How do I get out of this jail? And all of a sudden I realized that I had the key in the cell with me. And so I took the key and I opened it, and I just felt like I have the keys to releasing everything I want. I have, and I walked out into a garden. I tried to see that garden growing, and it was really cool. And then the next time, I'll tell you this because I haven't emailed you, but the next time I went into my heart, and I had this ball of string, and it was all tangled. And so I just saw it untangling, like the string being pulled out and untangling and straightening out. So that was cool too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
Love it.
That's the hard part, I think. And it's beautiful. So we have these experiences, and I know I have a lot of friends that, through different healers or different experiences, they have to open their heart. They have to open their heart. And the question is, how do we do that? How do we even get into the heart? And I love the practice of simply breathing into your heart, because breath is that vehicle by which prana comes into us, right? It's that life force energy. We are inspired. That's that inspiration, expiration of prana. And if we do it with intention to bring it into our heart, it just opens that up. And I love that you had that experience. So many people really struggle with that, to just get past that barrier. And how beautiful, through the journey that you're able to do that. Shamanic journey, I don't know, for those who aren't familiar, shamanic journey is just, it's a process by which you have an alternative experience, or an altered consciousness experience. It's basically going into trance, and you use a shamanic drum beat, a very fast drum beat, to induce the trance state, where you can then journey to it's like an out-of-body experience, or a higher consciousness experience. So And there are many ways to do it. Some people do it through meditation or through music or gongs or sound or any of those. But shamanic journey, because that's how I was trained. It was through shamanism, and I had those experiences. It's profound. It's a profound tool to use to reach those altered states of consciousness.
And it's also, for me, in my experience, very important to have one friend that doesn't judge you, that let you speak whatever you have to say, that you express it, that you hear your own words without judgment, without answering on your questions, because your soul already know. And one of these friends is Svemir. Otherwise, I would never answer on this call. We sometimes need someone that we trust, that we can rely on. And that's...
Thank you, Leila.
You're welcome.
So now this could be a chance for someone like Svemir or Jacki to tell us how reconnective healing is connected to overall spirituality. Because I know Dr. Eric Pearl and Lee Carroll that channels Cryon, my most favorite medium. My go-to person is, Lee Carroll and Cryon. So they are so connected. They're friends. Lee Carroll and Dr. Eric Pearl are friends. So one is reconnective healing, and the other one is just channeling the wisdom of the higher dimensions. And so how does that connect? So can somebody just talk about that? Maybe Jacki, you can. How does that connect with you?
I would like to hear Svemir's experience of that.
Well, I think actually reconnective healing is the doorway to awakening. That's how I see it. It came through Dr. Eric Pearl, who is that kind of the person who was able to bring it to a lot of people in a way that, in a very simple way, that opens the door. I mean, it's amazing when I was listening to Leila that she started to have channeling informations, Maria Magdalena and stuff like that. And actually I know many people that through reconnective healing, they have this switch. They have this switch and they started to have the ability to go outside of this our four-dimensional bubble of reality and start to remember about themselves and start to be aware of their connections with spirit. So I think that's really reconnective healing is here to open the door, and then different things comes. It's very interesting. You mentioned Cryon. I at some point of my journey, I was very much, I was listening every channel the information that he was doing. Today, I'm more connected with Stargate. I don't know if you know about them, but it's very interesting. For example, Julianne from Stargate, she started with reconnective healing, and today she really brings amazing channeling information to the world. So that's how I see it.
Svemir, it would be good to send me some link, whichever way, to that you discovered. That's new for me, so I want to explore it.
I will send it to you because it's also related to Cryon. They are very much, they're big friends and they do stuff together. So I'm going to send you. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I've noticed through the Reconnected and Leila, obviously I want you to share your experience too. Sorry, talking today is difficult. I've noticed an amplification of my gifts, and it was ramping up from the time of the training, and I was blessed when I was in Zagreb to have my personal reconnection with Svemir, and that was a game changer. It is absolutely a game changer to have that personal reconnection. So personal reconnection is, for those of you who aren't familiar, is different than reconnective healing. Reconnective healing is something we receive, and as we receive, it's received by others. The personal reconnection is a very it's reconnecting our energy to the grid energy. And Svemir, maybe you can explain it better, because I'm at a loss. I see it and I can feel it, but I don't know how to articulate it very well.
I will try. So personal reconnection is, I would say it's a very divine, profound process in which we connect our meridian lines and points of our body, which is one energy system. We connect that with ley lines of the Mother Earth and the energy grid of the everything that exists, of the universe, and I feel it's really the process that when I need to explain it, I say that we go from slow internet to very fast internet in connection with our higher self. And that's what's happening after personal reconnection. Yeah,
I love that metaphor. That's a good one. Yeah, you've upgraded your bandwidth, because it feels like that. And I've had that experience where there's just, like I said, this amplification. And then the portal work that we did in Hawaii on February 22nd, that was like another jump in that, another amplification of that energy. And it's been powerful enough for me that when I am doing the other work that I do, not just the reconnective healing, which is profound, doing that work is profound, but even the other work I do, I do like chakra dialogue healing, where I go into trance and I talk to all the chakras, and some other different healing modalities that I've been doing that are so intense that it's almost difficult. Because I know that I've got to purify my vessel just a little bit more to be able to really sustain that that vibration. I've noticed I've pulled away a little bit because it's so big and it's so intense. So even that is an invitation, right, to go deeper. Like, all right, so are you willing to go deeper? But I'd like to hear it, Leila. Will you share how this channeling, how it came about for you, and how it's impacting you now? Like, do you feel the amplification?
You're on mute. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh my God. Well, ever since the Reconnective Healing training in Croatia, which was just amazing, and I believe that each and everyone that was there was somehow in a soul agreement to be there, those energies, and I feel we all connected in a soul level because we were supposed to be there. The energy was just unified, and it was just an amazing experience. And then it kind of, from that point onwards, the Reconnective Healing energy, being involved in the collective energy of everyone that was there, and then coming home, I feel like my own personal development healing journey has just accelerated. Like, I had come from, I have a physical and emotional and, a lot of trauma in my childhood. And I've been on a self-discovery journey for the past 5 years. And I already thought that I dealt with some of the big healings. And I know healing is a journey as an individual person. It's never ending. You know, we just become better at handling things, especially when we find out our true nature of being, when we are spirit and we are also human, you know, and we're trying to kind of bridge those two in this reality. So for me, it really, the more I wanted to share reconnective healing energy with others, and I just, because my energy is just of sharing and positivity, and I co-created with other beings, with other amazing wellness teachers here, and we were offering like a group collective, like a free session for them to experience it before I could even make it into like a paid thing, because I was just enjoying giving this, gift and sharing, really. But what it has done for me was, every time I was trying to kind of create my business and say, okay, now I want to step into this full time, because this is what I truly believe the mission is. I'm stepping into my soul mission and soul purpose in life, and I believe this is it. And it's going to kind of change, because life is changing and something is going to add up. This is just the opening. Reconnective healing energy was opening me to my higher self and to my own growth and healing. And then there's like just so many other gifts that I have to discover within me. And it was just so beautiful to have all that process happening, that I actually was asking myself, like, I would meditate because I'm spiritual. I'm meditating every day. And I'm like, I want to share wisdom that resonates. I just don't want to share whatever is out there. I want it to come to me and share. And every time I said that, I was being told that I needed to actually share. I needed to do my own healing. Like, whenever I said that, my intuition would be like, how about you focus on yourself? How about you love yourself instead of being about others? Because I was imbalanced. I was about giving, and I was imbalanced with the receiving. So now reconnective healing energy, and the energy was like, go inward, heal yourself, and really give time to yourself, and balance that, like learn to love yourself, which is something I haven't really done. I thought I loved myself through people, wherever I was like giving, because I thought my whole mission was about that, but I forgot the self, the love that I have for myself, which is like, go back to yourself. So I have been doing that from the beginning of this year, where I was just kind of coming back to myself. And I had realized that there's some inner child healing that I needed to do. That led me to synchronicities of, okay, I need to do an inner child healing. And I will meditate and kind of connect to my inner child and see, okay, in that story, I know I forget so-and-so, but which part have I forgotten? And it was the part of victimhood. Like, I bypassed that. I didn't really acknowledge what happened to me was bad. So I needed, as a child, to face that child, that inner child. So I did that. And the surprising thing is, like in my story with my mother, I don't really have like a maternal connection with her, because I've never lived with my biological mother and father. I've always lived with my aunts, my cousins. I grew up in that. So I was kind of like always a loner, like a child who grew up on her own. So that love, I knew the lack of it, and I could give, because I was like, I lacked that. So I felt like this is what people expect. Like, I don't want to, and I'm an empath, so I feel people's pain. So I thought, I felt this pain, so I don't want this person to feel this, so I want to give and make them feel better. So it was always about others. And when I feel like about a month ago, I reconnected to a memory. And it's funny, Leia, you were saying about the soul remembrance. And I was resonating with that, because for me, I felt like when I was healing my inner child, and when I was being led to how to heal my inner child and talking to that part of me, I remembered my mom singing to me a lullaby. I remembered her, because I remember there was a period of time where I was a baby, just born, and I was taken away from my mom because she was not feeling well. And I kind of like, she was singing to me and she was declaring her love to me. And I felt that love, and I was like, emotion just clearing. And, I remembered the lullaby, and the words that were coming out of me, which was like spirit speaking to me, was remember, remember, remember. And it was also saying, remember, in different languages, in my mother tongue, in English, and in other language that I didn't even know. So it started off like that. And then boom, all of a sudden, I'm speaking totally in a new language, which resonates deep within my soul. There's a knowing of it. And I was like, it sounds Latin, it sounds Japanese, it sounds, I don't know what it sounds, but then but it felt so good because I felt my heart wide open, because I finally was feeling love. Like I was opening myself to my own love because of a memory I unlocked, because for me, that love was the maternal love. I felt I didn't get that, and I didn't know what that felt because of my past. But when I felt that love, it was almost like it was just so wide open. It's like what you were saying, Jackie, the heart opening. Like my heart was closed. I didn't even know parts of it to me was closed. So it kind of wide open, and then I'm speaking a new language, but it felt so good. I didn't get like, oh my God, what is happening to me? You know, like I will vibrate with this language. I will sing it. So initially it started off like a hand signing. Whenever I do the healing, the hands just take over. And, you know, we talked about this, the hands just kind of do its thing. But then it started doing like hand mudras. And I'm like, I didn't know this hand mudras were actually symbols and something that was already in kind of like a transmission of light and healing me as well as others. And this was just the whole beginning, and then me healing myself, and then boom, into a whole new language. And I'm singing it, and I'm like writing it, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm writing symbols, but it felt so unique. It felt so beautiful. And it's like as if it was the right progression. And now I'm singing, and a lot of it just hits my heart, and I'm crying. It's healing me. And a lot of the songs that I sing is Latin. Maria is coming up, and holy. So I do, when I put the intention out to want to know the meaning, I'm being told, you know, Senti means holy. Maria obviously is Maria, and like it's just words and mantras of God and light and love and just beautiful transmission, you know. And I don't know, it just feels beautiful. And this has just been happening for over a month. And you're right, it's so important to share it with someone. I do have someone that I share it with. My husband hears me, my cats hear me speaking different languages, and they're all over the place. But I do share it with this lady, Amy, who I co-create with. She's also on her spiritual journey. She does yoga nidra and her own thing. And so basically, whenever something expansion or something happens in our own thing, we just share. And then of course I am a part of a group of ladies in coaching in the UK. So we share in that sisterhood community. But it's just, yeah, that's how it all started. And I'm like just learning still what this is and the meaning of it. But I'm like just allowing it to flow. I think that's really important, to just allow it to flow, you know. I thought I was going to forget about it. Like one morning I'll wake up and I forget this language. No, it's not happening. It just keeps healing me, keeps just doing its thing. And it's just amazing. And I whenever I ask, I think now I get names coming up. Like I get Orion, Syrian. Like I'm getting, initially it was feeling like angelic, and now it's more like galactic beings, light beings of light. And I'm getting that in my head, and I'm like, okay. So, and I don't want to go and Google because I don't want to have the knowledge that's out there to kind of, I don't want to use the mind because this language feels like it's dropping from the heart. I don't have to even, it's just coming, you know. It's like a energy vibration that speaks to my higher self, and my higher self is connected. And I feel like the heart and mind is in coherence, you know, like, and this light, and I'm learning about light language, and I'm seeing a lot of people are now kind of channeling this, because I think also of the time that we are in, you know, people are remembering who they are, and we're just kind of like evolving. It is the time that we're in, so it's part of solar session, I guess. So yeah, and that was just so interesting to me. Still is. I'm curious, and I'm keeping that curiosity going and allowing going, Jackie. You know me, that's why I told you we have a lot to talk about. It's just amazing. Amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because you touched on the biggest thing I think that's really coming up for the collective is this, you know, as empaths, we want to help other people. We want to give, and reconnective healing, what's so beautiful and profound about it, and the reminder of it, is that we also need to be able to receive, and that that energy works through us because we're able to receive it. It can work through us if we allow ourselves to receive it. And oftentimes, you know, when we're wounded, when we're traumatized, we don't feel worthy. And I remember, so one of the very first experiences of reconnective healing I did a session with Jillian Fleer, who is Eric Pearl's partner. And the visions I got while she was working on me was sitting in a treehouse and allowing people to bring me gifts. And I just had to sit there and receive these gifts. And I was like, well, I should probably go down, you know, because like there's stairs. I should probably go. And they're like, no, just sit in the treehouse and receive your gifts. And I love the treehouse metaphor because it's like, it's a higher plane, right? It's elevated. Allow yourself to be elevated to receive that is part of this ascension process, to be able to receive. As we're bringing in the feminine energies, as it's time for this shift, right? In the Mayan calendar and all of it, we're shifting from that of doing and going and you know, the constant, the outward, the electric. And now we're moving into the magnetic, where we attract and we receive and we allow and we sit and we be. But it's such a beautiful thing. Thank you, Leila, for sharing that, because that moment of knowing that you are loved, right? It takes some of us a lifetime to get to that moment, a lifetime of looking and seeking and allowing till we finally get to that moment and we actually receive it fully and know that we are not only loved, but we are loved and we are provided for. So thank you for that.
And I read something the other day, and it was about kind of like, we create so much out of fear, so much of us, and kind of like, if we get into these kind of creative kind of, I suppose, as the society is that you have to work, you have to do a job, you have to kind of pay the bills and all that kind of thing. And when you start to sort of create, and as I say, as light workers, as all empaths that we all are, we want to kind of, we don't want to charge for our services. We don't want to think, oh, we can't charge, you know, it's against, but sort of say, but money is an exchange, it's an energy exchange. And when we create out of fear, because I know myself, if I haven't had any clients or for like a couple of weeks, I start to go into panic mode. But then it's kind of like, no, just calm it down and just kind of, and I'll sort of like, okay, and I'll go and do something fun, or I'll go and do something creative. And then all of a sudden I'll get a ping, like a notification of, you know, of somebody's booked a reading or all these kind of things, because I've took my head out of this fear. And this is what I was reading, it was saying, when you come from a place of creativity, and you take yourself out of that and you step back and you almost kind of remove yourself from that control, then creativity flows. And this is what I've started to remind myself on a daily basis, that everything happens exactly how it's meant to happen. Everything happens exactly for me in the right time. And when I'm not sort of seeing clients, I'm either sleeping, so it's replenishing, or I'm actually doing something creative. And instead of kind of having to do all the time. And I think as light workers and as empaths, we feel that we have to be giving and giving and giving all the time and trying to give away all out. But it doesn't work like that, because all we're doing is trying to control the situation. That when we remove ourselves from the situation and just go and have fun, like you say, that inner child, go and have fun, go and play. For me, it's going, when I get too much in my, and I talk about crazy, I know crazy from the inside. So when I go crazy and I start to kind of get a little bit too overwhelmed with my own thoughts, I'll go for a walk on the beach, or I'll just go for a walk, or I'll go and jump on my trampoline, or I'll go and do something, or watch something on YouTube that makes me laugh, just to kind of get myself back out of it. And that's usually like today, like this week has been very sort of very up and down emotionally for me. And I've had a dragonfly visit me every single day this week. And it kept coming into the greenhouse. And every time I kept going to try and remove it from the greenhouse, it kind of kept staying in the greenhouse. So I kind of said, okay then. So I put my hand out. And this dragonfly landed on my hand. And I took it out to the greenhouse and we just sat there. And I'm just sitting in the garden, just talking to the dragonfly. And I was just like, and it was just literally just sitting there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for this experience to have this dragonfly just sitting there. And then the next day, then I saw a ladybird. And then it was like, okay, I'm getting signs. And then today I was in a shop and this robin appeared out of nowhere. It was just literally, I turned around and this robin is sitting on the floor. And
in the shop.
And I would just like, I said to my husband, I was like, oh my God, that's such a sign. And he's like looking at me as if, what, there's a robin? And I'm like, no, you don't get it. Because I was just so kind of emotional of all these things that were happening this week. And it was like, okay. And I just kept hearing, just have fun, just trust, just don't worry about finances. Don't worry about the bills that are going to be paid. Just trust.
Receive.
And receive. Yeah. And receive. And as I say, just made my day just seeing that robin today. It's like, thank you.
I love that. I saw you post that picture and I thought about that. I love robins are special to me. They always remind me of my mom. So yeah. Those special gifts.
It's like we're being reminded, how much can you love yourself? Like they're giving you, reminders of, oh, you want creativity, how about you just appreciate this nature and connect and just distract you from whatever you're feeling. And it's like, we're loving you in this way. Life is loving you in this way. And it's like you accepting and receiving that, and it's all about you learning to love yourself. And then knowing that the world, the universe is just, life is happening for you. That, like you said, you don't have to do the business part and remind people, come on, booking healing and stuff like that. No, that doesn't have to happen. It's just you loving yourself, reminding yourself of doing what you love, play, whatever, and then it coming and flowing to you. And that's the biggest lesson, actually, I have learned. Thank you for sharing that. And the gift and the creativity is huge. It's just we're brought here to just be and love ourselves and just be, and then everything else just flows to us. And it's I don't know, for humans, I think it's because we're used to suffering and all the reality of the way the world is, that we are so connected to pain. We feel like, oh, we've got to struggle in order to be able to now get fulfillment out of that. I feel where I am, sorry to cut you short, Jackie, but I feel like all my life, the success that I have made, the self-made Leila who came from, back home in Kenya, a village, and came to Dubai with just $100 and self-made to working for a corporate aviation company, senior sales. To me, right now, it feels like, yes, I am so grateful for the journey and for everything I've received, but that to me is not success. And my definition of success is actually changed. And I look at myself every time I go to my office and I'm like, I know this has served me and I know the money that's coming through me. I have worked for it and it's my birthright. So I am receiving and I am grateful for it. But I'm realizing that success doesn't really fulfill my soul. Like what I'm yearning for to step into this work is actually to find soul fulfillment. Like just doing a healing and being part of this group and energy exchange is really just is part of soul fulfillment for me and energy connection, not the going to work and typing on a computer. I honestly am being reminded time and again that when I'm in the office, I feel all this energy vibration that I'm not supposed to be there. Like my hands even pain and they swallow and I'm swallowing, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I'm here, So yeah, success changed for me. And I'm like, no, I have a vision next year. I will step into doing this full time and see where life takes me, because I know life is ever changing. So yeah, thank you for this space to share, Jacki, and bringing us all together, really.
I'm so grateful. And I have to give kudos to Juro, because this was his beautiful heart idea to bring this community together. And I'm really grateful for that. It's been such an amazing exchange. And I'm so delighted for everyone who joined, Svemir and for Leila from Bosnia, talking about the pyramids and the energies there. My hope is for next year to have a retreat, to bring people to the pyramids in Bosnia, to have that experience of it, because I think, like, there was a documentary I saw with Dr. Svemir, who talked with Regina Meredith, and she had gone down in one of the chambers, and they were talking about the negative ions and how powerful that, like the percentage of negative ions compared to the regular atmosphere, and how that can bring about spontaneous healings and things like that. I want people not only to have that experience, but to also open up their minds to what's lying beneath the surface, right? What we were talking about earlier. Are you willing to dig a little deeper? Are you willing to look? Are you willing to open up and think that maybe that there's something else there? And Debbie had to drop off, but I loved also her own metaphor of, like, when she was in the greenhouse and she just opened her hand and allowed the dragonfly to come to her, right? It's such a beautiful metaphor of, like, just open up your hand and receive the reconnective healings. Open up our hands, allow that energy to work for us, to come to us, to receive it, and then we share it. And it's such a beautiful, profound thing. Juro, you wanted to say something, I think.
Well, I was just going to give credit to everyone who showed up. It's absolutely lovely to listen to everyone's experience, especially two Leilas just blowing me away. The one from Dubai, it's like, oh my God, that part of the world is fascinating. And then Visoko is like, I want to go there. I want to meet Svemir. Dr. Svemir is such a knowledgeable, he's amazing, he's archaeologist, he talks my language, you know. It's beyond belief, and I want to meet him. Very famous people go to Visoko, including the tennis guy, Novak Djokovic, and he's there, and that's why he plays so well. Leila from Dubai, you're just crazy, fascinating. Just keep shining your light. Just do it.
There's so many beautiful bright stars on this thing, I'm seeing the grid right here, the gallery, and all these bright stars.
I'm so glad Adrian stayed up, it's very late in Philippines.
It's almost 3 in the morning.
Oh. Yeah. And, it's lovely to connect. And I'm glad that we were able to hear the connection between, reconnective healing and overall spirituality, like, how does that connect? And Svemir, whose name is actually universe. Can you believe it? In our language, in Croatian, Serbian, Serbo-Croat, Svemir means universe. So it's fascinating. I just wanted to share that.
If you allow me to share that part, that's not really the name that my parents gave me, It's the name that I have received through one of the self-healing experience. And it was very interesting today. First of all, I want to thanks to Leila from Dubai, because she reminded me of some things, that we forget. So thank you, Leila, very much. And that's this part when you shared how you allow yourself to open your heart, and that's something that I have experience to open it, but I see how it needs to be opened more and more. And it was beautiful to hear you. And I received some information and some clarifications from hearing some of you tonight. So it was really beautiful. A lot of synchronicities. It's too many. I'm not going to share it now because it's not so important to share in details, but I really received so much information tonight from our conversations. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. This has been amazing. I'm so grateful. And this international experience, Becky, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say thank you to everybody. It was awesome to hear everyone.
I'm so glad you joined. Becky is just...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And
I want to say one more thing because I'm very proud of it. So you mentioned that you want to bring people to Visoko. I want to share that this year we are going to have Reconnective Healing seminar in Sarajevo, but the RCPP, the Seminar for Personal Reconnection, is actually going to take place on Park Ravni in Visoko. That's the place where you enter the tunnels. So yes, we are going to have that one in Visoko this year. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh, I wish I could be there. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Oh, I can't wait to hear all about it. Yeah.
Let me know when you organize a retreat there. I'm definitely going to be there. I think I'm supposed to be there. Something. I don't know. We'll see. Like Svemir said, synchronicities. I don't know. Whatever you're planning there, I would love to visit Croatia again and also go to the pyramids. About 2-3 days ago, again, I was having an image of like just what we are talking about today, pyramids, people in different colors, and like it was more the Egyptian, but it's just, I feel like it's all related. I don't know. So it will be interesting. Whatever you create, I will be a part of wanting to be there, you know, and yeah, let me know.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. I will. And so I'll have to connect with Leila from Visoko to get information. When's the best time to bring a group there and how do we organize? So I would appreciate any input, any guidance at all, because Bosnia is a beautiful country, absolutely beautiful country.
We will connect. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything that you've shared, your heart. It's been amazing.
Thank you, everyone. And I felt everyone. It's not just I heard everyone. I felt everyone. And that's the beauty of these meetings. Even I feel fan on my hair. It's kind of like when we are ready to open up for that space we are having. It's blessing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I feel the feather on my shoulder. Like I've been tickled on my shoulder the whole time. Thank you, everyone. You have lovely, lovely rest of your weekend. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your heart and your life.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.